after making it through the challenging Huachuca Mountains in Passage 1, it's a relief that Passages 2 and 3 take you through the gently rolling terrain of the Canelo Hills. Canelo probably comes from a misspelling of canela, which is the Spanish word for cinnamon. As you walk through the cinnamon-colored grass that surrounds you, the name makes perfect sense. Passage 2, Canelo Hills East, is 14 miles long from Parker Canyon Lake to Canelo Pass. If you're a through hiker, you may just blow right past the trailhead sign and keep on keeping on. But if you're a day hiker, you'll first need to get here. To do this, from Sonoita, follow State Route 83 south 30 miles to its intersection with Forest Road 48. Take Forest Road 48 for a half mile and turn right onto South Lake Drive. Then it's another half mile or so to the sign at the dirt parking area at the trailhead. While Passage 1 has lots of junctions with other trails that head down canyons or up peaks, Passage 2 has just this one trail that takes you directly to Canelo Pass. There are game trails and occasional social trails, but otherwise it's hard to get off track. That said, I got off track at Parker Canyon Creek, about 2 miles from the trailhead. I was so astounded by the amount of water that I followed a social trail along the creek for about 100 yards before I realized I'd gone astray. I thought I'd save time by rambling up a hill back to the trail, but then I ended up having to crawl under 2 barbed wire fences and was pretty annoyed with myself and pretty sweaty also by the time I was back on the trail. It was a good reminder to not take the route for granted. Because this section of Passage 2 is relatively flat, there are places where water pools and spots here and there suitable for a tent. But before you pitch your tent, check to see if there's a hole in the middle of that flat spot. If there is, it's an opening to an underground ant colony. You won't see ants when it's cold, but as the temperature warms up, out come the ants, and you don't want to find out the hard way that you pitched your tent on top of them. About 6 miles into Passage 2, you'll reach a saddle with an elevation of 6,200 feet, which is the highest you'll be until Passage 9 in the Rincon Mountains. At the saddle, I changed my clothes, took a break, and continued towards Canelo Pass. Okay, obviously what I really did is go back the way I came. Then a week later, I did a second out and back, starting at the other end of this passage, and this is the second half. It's not much different than the first half. Some ups and downs, not too steep, with flat spots for a tent here and there. After several gates and a cattle tank, and occasional views of both the Huachucas to the east and the Santa Ritas to the west, you're at the end of Passage 2 at the Canelo Pass trailhead along Forest Road 799. All right, the last gate. 14 miles one way, or 28 miles if you do an out and back hike from each end. There's a large parking area that marks the junction between Passages 2 and 3, and there are plenty of spots for tents. I'm pooped. That said, it can be a relatively busy road with Border Patrol vehicles, ATVs, and other cars driving down it, and there's no water nearby. As for me, I hopped in my car and headed home. And I'll see you on Passage 3. With Passage 2 complete, it's on to Passage 3, Canelo Hills West. This passage is 18 miles long and isn't much different from Passage 2. It starts at this Canelo Pass trailhead and heads over to Patagonia, ending at the Casablanca trailhead. Now, I need to come up there, girl. If you're day hiking it, to get to this trailhead, you drive south from Sonoita on State Route 83 for 18 miles, then turn onto Forest Road 799. It's 3 miles to a parking area on the right that's marked with AZT signs. To knock out these 18 miles, you can do 2 out and backs, one from the southern end of the trail and another from the northern trailhead. And there are various ways to do it as a shuttle hike. As for me, I did an out and back for the first half and a shuttle for the second. This route starts with a couple hundred feet of elevation gain to the high point of the passage at 5,600 feet. At the high point, you'll open and close the first of about 10, maybe more, gates along this stretch of trail. The rest of the passage is little ups and downs with plenty of flat stretches here and there. What you'll quickly notice is there are lots of thorny plants, mainly white thorn acacia. Also lots of cows. Hey ladies! And even more cow poop. Lots of cows have been in this area since at least the 1820s, when land grants began to be issued by the Mexican government, giving hundreds of thousands of acres to families to build ranches and raise cattle. Then in 1854, during the westward expansion of the United States, the Gadsden Purchase was finalized, and for $10 million, the U.S. received nearly 30,000 square miles of land in what's now southern Arizona and New Mexico. Obviously, the native people who had been living here for thousands of years defended their homeland. This resulted in the Apache Wars, which eventually ended in 1886 with the surrender of Geronimo. Ranchers held on to the land and still raise cattle here today, which is why there are cows and lots of cow poop, and why it's so important to close what seems like a gazillion gates in this area of southern Arizona. I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, this is what I thought a tank was. Water from a cattle tank can wreak havoc on your water filter, so either look for another source or have a backup plan in case your filter is ruined. To me, the nicest part of Passage 3 is shady, quiet Red Rock Canyon. It was in this section that at one of the many gates along the first 10 miles of trail, ooh, there's some turkeys up there. I followed some turkeys onto an old ranch road before I realized after a quarter mile or so that I was no longer on the trail. The trail is well marked, and it's the only one through the Canelo Hills, but there are still plenty of ranch roads, abandoned roads, and many, many cow paths that you can head off on. So keep your eyes out for trail markings. You'll know when you're out of the canyon because the surrounding terrain starts to look more and more desolate. At the 10-mile mark, you reach the Harshaw Road Connector Trail where you have a choice. Oh man! You can turn around for a 20-mile out and back hike. And this is where I'm going to turn around. You can take a connector trail 4 miles to Harshaw Road and then walk along the road or hitch to Patagonia, which is a popular place to take a zero. Or you can continue the final 8 miles to the end of Passage 3 at the Casablanca trailhead. I already hiked these last 8 miles last year with some friends, starting at the Harshaw Road trailhead. And the bad thing is that these miles are pretty desolate and unappealing, and I have hardly any video of it.
Are you biking the whole trail or just a little bit?
The good thing is that these 8 miles are some of the many miles of newly constructed trail in this area. They save you from miles of walking along the road to Patagonia, and then from more miles along State Route 82 to the former trailhead. The Arizona Trail Association can't make this segment any prettier, but they've worked darn hard to make it safer by routing the trail off the roads. So without much to show you of the last part of Passage 3, we're quickly at the end of it at the Casablanca trailhead. And that's Passages 2 and 3 of the Arizona Trail, from Parker Canyon Lake to Patagonia and the Casablanca trailhead. I really hope this video helped you know what to expect. These passages may not have the deep canyons or tall peaks of others, but what they give you is the chance to hike through hundreds of years of history in Arizona's borderlands. Have a great hike, and I'll see you on Passage 4 in a future video.